All right, welcome back. So we're jumping right back into our case study on Janita, a leader who's facing a really tough change initiative. But here's the thing. This isn't a story about some grand top-down plan. It's about the incredible power of diagnosis and what you do when you find out the problems are way deeper than anyone realized. Okay, let's get into it.
We're going to start right here, inside Janita's head. She's just read an email from Dev, her new hire. And in it, he hasn't just owned up to a few mistakes she made, he's actually analyzed them with a formal framework. Wow, this one little moment of relief? It tells you everything you need to know about the stakes here. For Janita, leadership isn't just about spreadsheets and strategy, it's about making bets on people, and the incredible feeling you get when you see those bets pay off.
Janita's whole approach is built on one idea: diagnosis. She just knows that a one-size-fits-all plan for change is, well, it's just not going to work. Her job isn't to be a project manager. It's to be a doctor for the organization. She has to figure out the very specific blockages, person by person, system by system. And to do that, you need the right tools.
So the first tool she pulls out of her toolkit for diagnosing individuals is the ADKAR model. That stands for awareness, desire, knowledge, ability, and reinforcement. Basically the 5 hurdles anyone has to clear to make a change. But here's the key. For Janita, this is not a rigid checklist. It's not about ticking boxes. It's a map that helps her pinpoint exactly where each of her school leaders is on this journey and what they genuinely need next.
So, as Janita starts making her rounds, visiting the schools, her ADKAR map starts to reveal a really troubling pattern. The problem isn't a lack of information. It's not about training. It's something much, much deeper and way harder to fix. It's a fundamental problem of motivation, or what the model calls desire. Now this slide, this is where it gets so fascinating. This is her differential diagnosis in action. On one hand, you've got Graham. He's totally aware of the change, but he has zero, and I mean zero, desire to do anything more than the absolute bare minimum. So giving him another PowerPoint deck, total waste of time. He needs to see this change linked to formal authority he actually respects. Then, on the other hand, you have Margaret. She is bursting with desire, totally motivated, but she's misunderstood the plan. She doesn't need a motivational speech, she needs clear, simple information. Same initiative, but 2 completely different diagnoses leading to 2 totally different strategies.
And this is the crux of the whole thing, why that desire gap is so tough. You can't force somebody to want something. In fact, if you pile on more data and more presentations for someone like Graham, you can actually make him dig his heels in even more. And here's the classic leadership trap that Janita avoids. Assuming that just because someone is a good, motivated person, they will automatically have desire for your specific change. They are not the same thing at all.
And Janita's diagnosis doesn't stop with the leaders. She sees a staff member, Karen McDonald, who keeps bypassing the new system and reporting up the old familiar chain of command. Now Janita realizes this isn't just about Karen, it's a symptom. It's a symptom of the organization's ingrained power culture. People are just doing what the system has been rewarding them for doing for years.
So, this is the big aha moment. Janita realizes she has to zoom out. She's diagnosed the individuals with ADKAR, and that's super valuable. But now she sees the problem is much, much bigger. The system itself is stuck. And to diagnose a whole system, she needs a different tool. So she turns to another framework, Kotter's 8-step change model.
And when she runs this new diagnostic, well, the results are pretty alarming. She finds that 3 of Kotter's 8 steps are dangerously weak across the entire organization. There's no real sense of urgency coming from the top. The leadership team is basically just going through the motions. And there are absolutely no visible short-term wins to give anyone hope or build momentum.
Now here's the kicker. These 3 steps aren't separate issues. They're all connected, locked in this self-reinforcing loop of inaction. Think about it. Without any real urgency from the top, you never form a truly powerful coalition. People just phone it in. And without a real coalition that's actually invested, you never generate any of those crucial short-term wins. And without any visible wins, well, nobody feels any urgency. The whole project is just stuck in a doom loop.
This brings Janita to a really tough place. Her diagnosis is clear. The problem is systemic. It's a problem that starts at the very top, way above her pay grade. So what do you do then? What can one leader do when the system itself is what's broken?
And her next move, honestly, it is a masterclass in pragmatic, real-world leadership. She takes a deep breath, acknowledges what she absolutely cannot change, and then focuses all of her energy on the things she can. She's decided she's going to build momentum from the ground up.
This slide just lays out her strategic choice perfectly.
On the left, what she can't fix. She can't march into the CEO's office and force him to create urgency. She can't magically make the leadership team genuinely care. But on the right, what she can fix, Kotter's Step 6. Generating and, crucially, celebrating short-term wins. That is something within her control. Her plan is simple. If she can't get fire from the top, she's going to start one from the bottom.
And she gets incredibly specific. These aren't just vague ideas. These are 5 concrete, tangible, communicable wins. Each one is a small but real piece of evidence that progress is happening. This is her weapon for breaking that loop of inaction we were just talking about.
But of course, just as she gets her plan locked and loaded, the universe throws her a curveball. The pressure gets dialed way up because now there's an external deadline. The clock is officially and very loudly ticking. An email pops into her inbox. It's from the local authority reviewer. The subject line says it all. The date for the midpoint review, the moment of truth, has been set in stone. She has 6 weeks. That's it. 6 weeks to execute her strategy, stack up those small wins, and build a convincing story of real momentum before the inspectors arrive.
And so that's where we leave her, facing a question that is at the very heart of leadership. It's a question I think every one of us faces at some point. When you've done the diagnosis and you realize you just can't fix the whole broken system, where do you choose to act? What's the one move you can make that just might be enough?